Hey Justin, my man, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Doing great, Elisha. Thanks for having me on.
Beautiful. And thank you too so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate it. And you see, Justin, oftentimes I love to thank my guest for two things. All right. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So firstly, I want to say thank you so very much, Justin, for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, Justin, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Justin, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately, I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it. Beautiful, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. Oh boy, it was such a special moment that day. I was so, so excited. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Justin that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, the impact your work is having, your philosophies, your insight, and all of the beautiful stuff that you're doing. It's amazing. And just before you got the request from me, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Justin is doing. Not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Justin. So thank you so, so very much for investing in yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thank you so much, my man. Thank you. Beautiful, my man. Thank you so much. So let's get started. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today, Justin, for, let's see, two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, I believe it takes the application of knowledge. Not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Justin, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Justin on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Justin, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So, for that reason, Justin, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey. Because right now, we are just so curious. We want to know how Justin got here. Then, afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Justin, my man, over to you.
Okay, so when I was in high school, I was pretty unhealthy. Like I just was having a lot of like sodas and like not really eating very well, and I didn't really understand about good quality food and where it came from. And then I started doing a lot of exploring about that stuff, and I realized that the food we eat has a direct impact on our health. And I never really understood that before. I'd never really understood how the food we eat is going to impact our health in the same way that if you put olive oil in your car, it's not going to run very well. You know, the fuel you put in your car affects how your car runs, and the food you put inside yourself affects how you run, how your body runs. And so I started diving into all these different amazing foods that could help to improve your health and well-being, things like spirulina and lion's mane mushroom and reishi mushroom and wheatgrass and all these kind of foods that are really high in nutrients or really high in specific active compounds that you don't get in your regular diet. And I just became really fascinated with them. And I started this business called Forest Superfoods, where we provided these foods to people as close to how they appear in nature as possible. I think nature is the ultimate healer, and nature is so complex and understands some incredible things. There's so much that happens in nature that we don't even understand. We don't even understand our own brains and how our own consciousness works. But nature has made these incredible foods in a specific way, and humans tend to take those plants and then change them to something else. But what we really should be doing is trying to preserve them as close to how they appear in nature as possible, because nature's created them in a very specific way. And so what we do is we take things like the medicinal mushrooms, and we freeze dry them, which is being shown scientifically to preserve the nutrients inside, almost the same as eating it fresh. And then we don't use any alcohol or water to create an extract like everyone else does. We just take the whole mushroom and the mycelium, freeze dry it, and put into capsules. So we keep it as close to how it appears in nature as possible. And by doing that, we can make sure that it has all of the active compounds that it has, as it has naturally, even things that humans don't recognize yet. Like up until 6 months ago, we thought there was only 1 or 2 active compounds in the lion's mane mushroom. There's actually 280. And this was found in a big study that came out last year. And so as humans, we like to think that we know best and that we understand nature and that we need to control nature. But I think what we really need to do is respect nature and work with nature as much as possible, because nature knows a lot more than what we do.
Very, very true. And that's amazing. And I love the fact that you're keeping things natural. And that's a brilliant one. So I've got these questions for you, and I'm a bit curious. How did you bootstrap forestsuperfoods.com with only $100? How did you do it?
Very slowly. It took I mean, I didn't have a choice. I didn't have any money, so it wasn't like, I wasn't trying to challenge myself or anything. It was just all I had in my bank account. And so I just grew the business very, very slowly. And I think there's a good lesson in there for other people that want to start a business, is that like, I don't think it's a good idea to take out a loan and mortgage your house and borrow money in order to start a business, because most businesses don't work. So I think it's really important to find a way to start the business without taking on loans or taking on money from other people, so that at least you can see if it works first before you start taking money. Because I think as soon as you get into debt and you get loans and you owe people money and all this kind of thing, it takes a lot of the fun out of it as well. So I didn't want to take loans from people or take any money from anybody else, because I didn't want to feel like I owed them, and it would just put so much pressure on me. And then I didn't want to feel pressure to then drop my values as well. I didn't want to feel pressure to because I owe this person money, now I'm going to sell a poor quality product. Now I'm going to mix alcohol with all my products to make extracts because it's going to be much cheaper. I'm going to start buying crappy imported superfoods instead of selling like Australian grown superfoods, which are a lot more expensive. I want to be able to maintain integrity and maintain my own values and be able to do things the way that I think is the right way to do them, without having my mind without being compromised because I owe money to banks or other people or anything like that. So I just started slowly. I would just buy a little bit of stock. I'd just buy a little bit of stock. Then I'd sell that stock, and then I'd buy a little bit more product. And then when I'd save up a bit of money, and I'd do a little bit of advertising. And then and then I'd have a little bit of money saved, and then that money would go to another bill, and I would just be moving money around for maybe like 5 years or something, just trying to stay above water. But eventually it got to a point where it just started doing really well and doing better and better and better. And we got to a point where, we had enough money to be able to pay our bills. And then we could use that money to start investing in like capsule machines to make capsules, so we wouldn't have to do it outsourced. We could do it all in-house, and investing in like new software that would help us to run our systems better and be able to send out the orders better, and new designs for boxes so that we could make sure that our beautiful glass bottles don't get broken when they go through the postal service. And it just we just grew gradually. As like, I started 12 years ago. It's taken 12 years to get to this stage, especially with online business, because you don't need any. Like, when I started my online business, my first one 20 years ago, you had to know how to program and code and all that stuff. You don't need to know any of that stuff anymore. Now you can just set up a Shopify store for free, take some photos of some products, write some stuff on the site, and use and organically get customers there through video and stuff, through Meta and through TikTok and all that kind of stuff. And you can start making money without spending a cent. It's not necessary to. In the old days, you had to open a shop, and that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But now with online, the barriers to entry are so low that you can start a business with nothing. That's the same thing. I started that 20 years ago. And at the first time I started, I had a pot on the balcony, and I grew some lettuces or something, and they all rotted and died. Like, I didn't get anything from it. But like the next year I got a little bit better and a little bit better and a little bit better. And I think, like, people get overwhelmed by how far it is they want to go from where they are now. But what you should really do is just go, what's the next step? Just take one step at a time. Every day, take one step towards whatever it is you want to do. And if you want to grow food and you want to grow heaps of food, today start just going, okay, how do I make the best quality compost or soil to grow the food in? And then tomorrow, put a few seeds in and see what happens. And just do a little bit every day. And after 10 years, you can't believe how far you've got. But it's just that you just need to take that step every day towards your goals, whether it's in business or growing food or whatever it is. But the way I do is, we now live on a farm. We have 10 acres in the mountains outside of Melbourne in Australia. And we have big vegetable gardens with like raised beds and rows. And I just grow a lot of food there. And we have about 150 fruit trees as well. We're growing avocados this year for the first time ever. And if people want to learn to grow as well, they can look on the Forest Superfoods YouTube channel. I've put a ton of videos teaching people how to grow food and how to get started, and how to grow their own garlic, and how to grow their own herbs, and how to, how to make good quality soil. Because one thing I've learned from growing food is that, like, you have to, the quality of the soil determines the quality of the plants. So if you've got low quality compost that doesn't have a lot of organic matter in it, then the plants that you grow from that aren't going to have a lot of nutrients. And so that's why at Forest Superfoods, all the products we sell are all certified, all grown to certified organic standards. Because I want to make sure that, like, the soil hasn't been poisoned and hasn't been overly tilled, and that the plants that we sell, or the mushrooms that we sell, are as high in nutrients and vitamins as possible. And that starts with the soil. And it's the same when you're growing food yourself. It all starts with the soil. And it's the same with your own body. It all starts with, like, the food you put into your body. Like, your health is determined by the food you put in. So, eating a lot of, like, organic fruit and vegetables is one of the best things you can do to improve your health and your energy levels and your mood and your skin and your immune system and all that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the modern diet is depleted of nutrients and vitamins. So even a lot of us eat too much, like, ultra processed foods and fast food and that kind of thing, which doesn't have any nutrients or vitamins in it at all, really. But then also the stuff we buy from the supermarket, even the fruit and vegetables we buy from the supermarket, it's often frozen for 6 or 12 months. It's grown in the dilapidated soil that we've just spoken about. And so they've actually done studies where they've compared, like, an apple from the 1950s to an apple today, and you would have to eat 15 apples today to get the same amount of nutrients you would have gotten in the 1950s from one apple. And so, like, so our diets are lacking in nutrients and vitamins. And so the superfoods can really help to make sure we're getting lots of nutrients and vitamins in our diet. But the other thing is as well, there's a lot of nutrients and vitamins and active compounds that are found in the superfoods that don't even exist in our normal diet. Like in the lion's mane mushroom, there's like the hericenones and erinacines, which are these incredible active compounds which help to improve your memory and protect against degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's and that kind of thing, and help you to think more clearly and focus, and those things don't exist in anything else other than lion's mane mushroom. So like by including superfoods in your diet, you can help to improve your health and well-being and your amount of nutrients you get. And also just like, like for example, there's something like ashwagandha root, which I love, which is an amazing Ayurvedic root that we sell, which naturally lowers your cortisol levels. So if you're feeling stressed or anxious, you can take some ashwagandha and it helps you to feel less stressed. And it's so much better on the body because it's just a food compared to taking like an SRI or like some kind of medication or alcohol or whatever to help feel less stressed and anxious. It's a food that does it. So that's so much more beneficial for us because it's packed with nutrients and vitamins and it's not causing other issues, as opposed to when you take like a synthetic pharmaceutical that then causes other follow-on effects or addiction or issues with liver or kidney or something like that. So there's lots of reasons to take superfoods, and I'm still kind of, even though I've been doing this for a long time, I'm still blown away by how incredible these foods are and how why these special superfoods can really change someone's life. And I get emails from people every day about how their life has completely changed just from taking one of our foods. And that's what really kept me going. That's what really kept me going through the difficult years, was just people going, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, you've changed my life. And yeah, that's worth more than the money. There's lots of things people should know. I guess one of the things that people should know is that mushrooms are super absorbent. They're like a sponge. So like there's been some studies where they're experimenting with using mushrooms to soak up oil spills in the ocean. But mushrooms will absorb whatever is in the environment around them. So if you're buying mushrooms that are grown in dirty water or in a polluted area, or there's heavy metals in where they're growing, the mushrooms will absorb all of that, and then you'll end up consuming them. So it's super important to ensure that when you buy medicinal mushrooms, they're grown in a pollution-free environment and they're grown with clean drinking water and they're free from heavy metals. And that's why we grow all our mushrooms in Australia, because here we have very clean air and very clean water and lots of space. And so we grow all our mushrooms in Australia for that reason. Another thing people should be aware of is that mushrooms will lose a lot of their nutrients when they're dried. So most companies will spray dry the mushrooms, and when you do that, you lose a lot of the nutrients. So in that case, you should eat it fresh. But freeze drying helps to lock in all the nutrients, so it's almost equivalent to eating it fresh. So look for mushrooms that have been freeze dried rather than spray dried if you're buying them dried already. You also want to make sure it includes the mycelium, which are the roots of the mushroom, which are so the fruiting body is the part that you see above the ground, and then the roots underneath is called the mycelium. And the mycelium contains a lot of active compounds that aren't found in the fruiting body. So when you have a product which has the mycelium and the fruiting body together, you can make sure you're getting all of the active compounds. And the last thing I would say as well is to avoid extracts. So an extract is where they take the mushroom and they dilute it in a lot of alcohol or water, and then they throw away the mushroom and sell the alcohol or the water. They sell the liquid. And what's happening there is there's certain active compounds in the mushroom which can't be pulled out by the alcohol or the water. So when you throw away that piece of mushroom, you're losing some of those active compounds. So it's much better to buy a product which is the whole food version of the mushroom. So it's the whole thing without any alcohol or water added, and it's just the whole mushroom and mycelium freeze dried and put into a powder. That's the highest quality mushroom product you can get, in my opinion, because then you're getting everything that's in that mushroom as it's meant to be found in nature. So if people want to find out about superfoods and they want to improve their health naturally with the highest quality superfoods on the planet, we've done 300,000 orders so far, and we're now available in the US, So people can go to Forest Superfoods with one R, forestsuperfoods.com, and here on my hat, forestsuperfoods.com, and they can order the mushrooms, and they can order the other superfoods from there. And we do free shipping to the US. I think if you spend 120 US, you get free shipping. And there's a quiz there, so people could take the quiz and find out like which superfoods are best for them. And then they can ask a question through the website as well if they need to, or through social media. And then if they want to get in touch with me specifically, they can find me on LinkedIn, Justin Snyder. Thanks for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.